Ladies and gentlemen, friends and fellow travelers, a very warm welcome to Pascale Marthine Tayou.
Thank you. Thank you.
So this is not the first time we do an interview, but since we met last time, about 2 years ago, so many things have happened and there's so much to talk about. But maybe before we start, Pascale, you can tell us a little bit about the film, because you brought this film with us, and whilst we have the conversation, we are also watching the film.
So when they informed me that I will have this occasion to talk with people here, I thought maybe it would be necessary, interesting to do some kind of video, some kind of mix of my legs works. So people who are here can have some kind of ambience, some kind of information before we start talking together. That was the reason.
So it's nice because it's going to be parallel realities. We have this and we have the conversation, and then sometimes we connect. But before we speak about your work now, I wanted to ask you about the beginnings and how it all started. Because in our previous conversation, you said that at the beginning you faced the desert. It started with this idea of facing the desert, but also you didn't come from art. You started as a lawyer by training. You didn't practice, but you started as a lawyer by training. So can you tell us about the beginnings and your epiphany and how you came to art, or how art came to you?
I think people made me discover that maybe I'm an artist. I'm not so sure that I'm an artist. Maybe after this, I will be an artist. But in the beginning, it was just that I was like empty, or I was full of garbage. I just tried to clean myself. And then when I'm starting cleaning myself, I discovered that it was interesting to people who come to me. And then I started like some kind of revelation for myself and for the people who come to me. And step by step, it became more bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I met so many people. And then I did also so many stuff. That's how it's going.
And where would you say does your catalogue raisonné start? Where does your work start? Because the other day I spoke to Gerhard Richter, and he said it was all student work, and then at a certain moment he did his first piece, which is the famous table, which is his first blurred, photo painting, and he says that's where my catalogue raisonné starts. Where would you say does your catalogue raisonné start? What's the first piece of yours?
Actually, I have to think about that. I did not start now. The beginning is still very far in front of me. It looks like I did a lot, but I'm just in the introduction. Maybe not the introduction. I still have to look the way to start.
And when we met, it was actually in Jaspis that we met for the first time. It was in Sweden, and you had a residency. It must have been 97 maybe, it was in the late 90s, with Daniel Birnbaum, at that time director of Jaspis. And there were many, many drawings there. Drawings like traces, drawings like signs. Can you tell us about these beginnings? Because there was a lot of drawings in your work at the beginning.
No, it was the confrontation of the emptiness. And then when you walk sometimes in the street, you saw so many stuff, so many elements. And for me, working with the sound, it was like to try to invent some new sound from what I got, from my impression. And this was also some kind of I was looking for my écriture. I'm looking for how to invent my alphabet. That was the point. So I started from this point. I think I'm still looking for that. Yeah. Of course, now I'm a little bit, comment dire, je suis un peu dissipé. Maybe
Dissipated?
Dissipated? Yes, I'm a little dissipated. Because maybe when I started looking for this special point, there were so many lights who arrived at the same time. So I am like, So now I'm trying to look for the, comment dire, je cherche la vraie lumière. I'm looking for the right light in this darkness.
And here we have, a lot of things have to do with things you find, you say, in the street. And from the very beginning, when I saw your work, there was always a connection to the city. It was actually, when we spoke, then you said, la connexion à la ville et la connexion des villes. There was always a connection to the city. You found a lot of materials you use in the city. Very often your shows have to do with the city. Can you tell us about how that started and your kind of idea of rural urbanism? Because it's not only urban it's also rural, it connects to the countryside.
Yeah, it's very simple because the city is like my studio, you know. It's my workshop. It's where I found my material. It's where I really recognize myself, you know. It's where I was born. It's my tradition, the city. So I can't escape from that. And then working with all those elements, it's just what I can do, you know. I can't escape from that, you know. Just use what I have around me, around myself. And this could be physical, abstract. This could be also intellectual, you see. But the main point is where I'm going to. I don't really know. I mean, collecting all those material is also looking for something, for the start of something, you know. I mean, because I'm like in some kind of traffic jam, you know. I mean, I'm looking for my way, you know. I mean, so it's not so easy. Also, it depends. Also, you know, when you start like a young guy, you know. I mean, your parents say go to school to become this, and then you start to go to school to become what they want you to be, and then after maybe like 10 years of education or 20 years of education, when you come back, they say you lose something, and then you say no, Dad, no, parent, you asked me to be that. And then you say, no, but you have to speak to us your own language. I say, yeah, I can, you know. So working with all those material is also to show my alphabet. It's to show why I'm so different from my parents also, you know. Also to teach them to be what I am, you know. It's all about tradition. All about tradition and my new identity.
And one of the things we can see in the film, I hope the film starts again. I think there is a loop. No, we're going to have the film. So if we can, because it stopped now. If we can start the film again, that would be great. Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things we saw in the film beforehand were these extraordinary exhibitions you made, where more and more you actually make complete installations. It's a bit like a Gesamtkunstwerk. It's a total work of art. You have the Venice piece. And then even bigger, the Lille piece. I mean, in Venice already, it was somehow a city within the exhibition space, and in Lille it became gigantic. In Lille it was the exhibition, which actually is probably the biggest exhibition you've done so far. Can you tell us, because that's really what happened since our last interview, is that these complete installations entered. What about Traffic Jam? Can you tell us more about Traffic Jam?
I'm a very lucky guy, you know. People giving me opportunity to express myself. I'm just trying to give me more and more what they want from me, you know. And then the more I do, the more I have energy, you see. So it started like maybe with 1 point, and now the point is so bigger. It's like what you say. It's like some kind of invasion, you know. No. So when people invite me, they have to be careful, in fact, because I can also destroy everything, you know. I mean, but I don't know. I have no control. That's it. Because they asked me for. I said, okay, if you want this, I give you this. That's it.
And can you tell us about the Lille exhibition concretely? What happened in Lille?
Lille was some kind of. I was searching to build some kind of a city, big city. So they invited me to repeat the piece they saw in Venice, and the piece they saw in Venice was. Human being at work. And then the piece was like maybe 500 square meters. And then for them it was like, maybe we have a huge space in Lille, it was like 3,000 square meters. So they invited me to install this 500 square meters in Lille. And then when we arrived there, and then they say, Pascal, maybe it's possible maybe to use all the space. I mean, you know, but they was not really belief in what was asking me. I said, yeah, why not? Maybe all the city. Why not? And then I'm starting working. I said, okay, I'm going to create some kind of, because the space was calling train station, all train station, la gare de Lille, la gare Saint-Sauveur, all train station. And for me, the train station is like some kind of meeting point. So I'm just trying to build some kind of big meeting point, some kind of big traffic. And then I call the show traffic. And from one space to another space, you have to cross a big city. Mm-hmm. So when you arrive in the show, you don't really know where you are. And every time you go from one point to another point, you discover yourself. So it was a history of revelation also. Revelation of myself, revelation of people, you know. And it was not a show. It was not, for me, it was not like making art show. It was just like how to build a new city, internal new city. how to build something. They give me this occasion, and then so I'm trying to mix a lot of pieces. Some pieces from collection, some pieces from new production, in studio pieces. I'm trying also to work with artists like my master. I told them, you are my master. I need people when you're gonna come here to see the show to really feel themselves, to really feel the energy you put on the show. That's it. And then we started, and then it became more bigger. That's it.
So it just grew and grew.
Yeah. It was, for me, it was one of the best intervention I never did before.
But it's also, you used the word energy, and that's something which I wanted to ask you about, because there is so much energy in your work. And the other day, we did the interview here with Michelangelo Pistoletto, and he talked a lot about energy, and energy being made up of opposite poles, the negative and the positive. What is energy? How would you define energy?
Energy is something who can be covered with something positive. It's something have to do with positivity and negativity. It's like you have in pill, battery. You should always have plus and minus. So for me, to make a show is to use the space, to use all negativity as something positive. Mm-hmm. It's like you are in the darkness and just try to make the light on. That's energy for me.
Yeah, it's actually fascinating because it very much ties in with what Pistoletto said, when he did the light bulb piece. One of the things about cities is obviously also that you travel. We've had lots of chance encounters here, because whilst you speak, a lot of things actually pop up in the background which connect to what you say. And before, when you spoke about the Lille show, it says about you traveling from city to city and do these shows. And you left Cameroon, I think, when you were 20, and you told me you went to many cities in Africa and all over the world. But I'm particularly interested in your trips in Cameroon and your trips in Africa, where you often also made videos. You went to Congo, to Tanzania, to Kinshasa. It's like a mapping. Can you tell us about these mappings of African cities?
Traveling through those cities was like, as I just said, to look for some other part of myself. And I was traveling also there to meet some people who are makers as me, painters, sculptors. I just try to find a relation between what they are doing, the work they are doing there, and the relation with the environment where they live. And seeing this, it makes me also grow and to learn more about what people thought is my culture. Because when people look at me, they may think that I'm African. But actually, it's not true. I don't really know where I'm coming from, So people may think that maybe I'm a black guy, but in fact, I may be pink or blue. So go to Africa was to searching all this interrogation people put on me when you look at me. It's all about identity. It's also all about how to create a new identity or to mix all those identities I've got through my travels. I really see it with my mother. Sometimes when I come back home, she always asks me, my son, what do you eat when you travel? What kind of food you eat? I can say to my mom, this herb, we can't eat here, that's why I eat there. You see, and for me, that's why I'm traveling. I'm traveling to learn, but it's not because I want this. It's also because people give me this opportunity. I really don't have possibility to buy a ticket to travel, So people give me this possibility. I'm just trying to do what people want me to do, and then to share with people, some other people. I'm so lucky. I'm just enjoy life.
And in these trips, you very often. They lead to installations, but you also do videos, and the videos are not such a well-known aspect of your practice. So I thought it would be interesting to talk a little bit more about your videos, because very often you videotape the cities, the environment. There's also an ecological kind of connection in terms of your videos. Can you tell us about that? It's an archive, I suppose.
Yeah, it's something like this, because in the beginning, I discovered a camera, because I never touched camera before I started working. As everyone, but for me it was more than people who really grew up in this kind of technological environment. So when I took the camera for the first time, it was I was asking myself about the content of the camera. So I just use camera like you use the material to sculpt, or you use Pinceau, comment on appelle ça, le pinceau?
Pencil, it's not a pencil, it's
To paint.
yeah, the
Voilà.
paintbrush. It's
Voilà, you brush to paint. So I decided just to go through the city, and then I start to shoot. And then when I'm shooting, I'm start to play also with the camera. So making video and try to find some kind of to see how the image is developing himself inside the camera. And then step by step, I did a lot of picture. And then I started this. It was in my ghetto where I grew up. So many people also around me, they was discovering camera. So when they saw me the first time, the camera was like, what's that? You know? And then by step, it was like normal. When they saw me, and this is the same guy, it's the same material. And then I want also to show this also when I edit. It's not like to sit down in front of the desk and make edition, you know? It's just like to give everything I've got. Because for me, one pixel could be one video, you know? Like some kind of archive of, I'm learning, I'm making, I'm showing, you know, I'm installing, you know? And then, but at the same time, I also use videos as element of communication. So I go to the people, explain to them that what I'm doing. I told them I'm a traveler. So I sometimes I explain to people, I want people tomorrow maybe to discover who you are. So if you say yes, I can shoot you, I can make a video of you where you are now working. And then if I'm arriving somewhere else, I show you to some people else. So always look for a relation, connecting people, you know, connecting people with myself. I'm like some kind of trade union, some kind of link, you know, that's it.
And this connection, which we can see here in the film, because you talk in the film as well about the traveling, seems to me also very related to chance encounters. I was wondering, what's the role of chance in your work?
You mean chance? Le hasard. I think it's important to use to take a lot of risk. The risk means that I always look for the excellence of failure. Tu vois? L'excellence de la faute.
Oui.
Because I discovered that my education is to be perfect. But I have to know that perfection comes from imperfection. So using imperfection and or searching for imperfection, that's my way. Mm-hmm. And in imperfection, you have a lot of hazard. This means that a lot of stuff, sometimes a lot of painting, a lot of objects I discover at the end through the eye of people. I just close my eye and just do it, you know. Sometimes I discover that for example, when you take the chalk work, when I put the chalk like this, one side by side till at the end.
We saw in the film before,
yes.
Yeah.
And then I look at the chalk, I say, hey, come on, this chalk looks like some kind of fabric. But I did not talk about this before. Mm. But I could also make like, I thought about this before, so I may be more interesting or more serious. But I don't really, it's revelation, you know. Just do it. Look for revelation of something. And then people, when they come, they're going to find their own revelation also. So all this is very important for me. But at the end, you have like some kind of perfect structure, you know. But in the beginning, you just do it. Just do it. You have a feeling, just do it. Because I'm an intellectual. That's why I learned. You know, I was a lawyer. I did not do it. You see what I mean? Because I found that it was too perfect for me. And then, because in French, law means le droit, means the perfect. But I found this droit is not straight. That's why I started not to do nothing. Even artists, I'm not an artist. But people can call me an artist. Even though if I look like an artist. But I'm not, I don't really know why I am, you know.
But it's fascinating about the lawyer, no? Because Christian Boltanski always said he defines the artist to be like a lawyer, but a lawyer who knows everything about the law and then finds a loophole where the law is not, you know, covered or with his definition of or being an artist, kind of to find these loopholes?
I mean, yeah, I mean, the law is supposed to be something who connects you with the people, and then you're like some kind of guy who try to help people to find solutions in this darkness. And then when you discover that, they are not really the perfect way to do it. I mean, I just try to create my own law beside.
Mm. Now, one of the things, I mean, you talked about failure, and you talked about, I mean, that's something Cedric Price always said, why is it so difficult in our Western society to make, you know, useful mistakes? But obviously that leads us also to unrealized projects, because we talk very little about unrealized projects of artists, projects which didn't work out because they were maybe too big, or they were impossible, or they were censored or forgotten. We hardly have any knowledge. We know everything about the realized project, but we know hardly anything about the unbuilt roads of an artist. And as we see here in the film, your extraordinary built work, we see your installations, we see your exhibitions. I thought it would be interesting for the public here to hear a little bit about your unrealized project. And when I asked you this question before, you told me that you've got an enormous list of unrealized projects. You at that time said you have to write it down, but you mentioned two which might be a beginning to talk about today. One is that you wanted to rent a house at very high price and not inhabit it, which I thought was great. And you also told me about another, they always have to do with architecture, these projects. You also had an idea for Paris of an architecture glass house, which would have been very high. Can you tell us about these and maybe some other unrealized projects?
I forgot it. I mean, I thought maybe the more unrealized project was all on Tata, or maybe without any walls. It's something maybe more dreams, you know. But it was, I mean, the two works, I mean, the one architecture was like how to build something where people can really have any access to get through, because very hard. How to think about that, you know, something only you can see from far away. Yeah, but we did not work because maybe it was too expensive, you know, for the production. I don't think that because in some I did also physically a lot of unrealized project. I mean, some project was supposed to be not possible. We did it, you know. So actually, it's more easy to do unrealized project because all my projects is always like I really don't want to do it. Actually, I have one example. When people come to see me, to invite me, to give me a scholarship to Milwaukee, I was living in Brussels, so they come to me and say, oh, Pascal, we would like to invite you for 6 months in Milwaukee. So I really don't want it to go for scholarship. So I just try to find something maybe impossible for the curator who invited me. So I'd ask them maybe to invite, not me, maybe my father, something like this. And then he said, oh, yeah, that's genius. I'm going to do it, you know. So, and then I was like, you know, yeah. And then I was like I was, comment je dis, j'étais dans le trap. I was in my own trap. So I was forced to do something I really don't want to do, you know. So, and then, you know, and then we did it in Paris. So I have to go to Africa. But in the same time, from this point, I started to find a reason to do it. I discovered that maybe, yes, that's interesting. Maybe to ask my father to walk after me. Because normally me as a boy, I had to walk after my father, on the feet of my father. So I discovered from this point to ask my father, oh, Dad, come follow me. That's it. This is also unrealized in normal life, you know. That's it. And then we did it. But the only point was like, my father is some kind of all-African bushman. So they didn't have any dream to travel. They had any dream when they saw the plane fly like this in his bush. They didn't have any plan to be inside this plane. For me, it was like a challenge to ask him to do it. And then when I go to see him, he said, yeah, let's do it, you know. But from this point, it was difficult because I have to ask for his visa. I have to ask for this, and then the visa to America as African, you know. And then he need to make his own interview, personal interview, and then he speak in African. So now nobody to translate. And this is why you can also discover, you know, when you make all this. And then when we traveled in Europe, he fell ill. So we're not able. We buy everything. We're not able to fly till America. So he stopped his travel in the hospital. So something became like some kind of happy project, stopped like something dramatic. You see what I mean? But I try to transform this dramatic situation as something, let's say, interesting, I mean happy, you know, because the film was like, I have to travel with my father, I have to document this travel, and then we go there, and then we come back, and then at the end I make a film. See what I mean? But the film, the travel stopped on the middle, so I have to start the film now from the middle till the end.
So one can say that's a kind of a half realized or half unrealized project. And then there is your fully unrealized project. I mean, the one I'm particularly also interested in the architecture link, because many of the things we see here, if you think about the Lille show and the Venice show, they have a connection to architecture. You have these buildings in the show, and you wanted to do real architecture in Paris. Can you tell us about this glass house? There would have been fluorescent furniture. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a wonderful utopia.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream, you know, how to build a dream. But I did not think about that as an architect. I just think about that as something, let's do something bizarre, impossible, I know, something, you know, because let's just propose something to say no. And then if they say yes, you just do it. Because most of the time, I just try to propose some project just to, because I don't, it's difficult to say, no, I don't want to do it. So I just invent something, you know, difficult to follow. So when they say no, I'm happy. And then if they say yes, I'm also happy. Because at the same time, I can do something marvelous and something, you know, that's it. You know. But truth is, it's all about transparency, fluorescence, all about dreams, all about something I don't really know how it's going to happen, how I'm going to finish. I want to do just something with the glass, because all the houses we live in is always covered. It's always like a dark box. You know, we can see the house from outside, most of the house from outside. And for me, most of the house is like the portrait of a human being. Realizing some architecture or some form, transparency, is just try to open the gate of my soul, open the gate of my spirit. It's something like this.
Now, one thing which just came into my mind looking at the film, because we have always the film running, is, and we haven't spoken about that yet, is the question also of recycling, because it's not only new ideas or new projects, but very often you seem to recycle things you found. And when Pistoletto was here a couple of days ago, he talked about recycling as an important thing right now, when there's less and less resources. We realize that resources are limited. He talked about his Venus of the Rags, in the 60s, when he made icons of recycling. And you recycle a lot of materials for your sculptures. They are recycled. What's this notion of recycling? I mean, the plastic bags, for example, is recycling.
No, actually, I'm just use object of my daily life. I know every object have some kind of history, interpretation. When you look a pen, you have your own interpretation of the pen. When you look a book, when you look whatever, you have your own interpretation, always on the back or on the good side. When I use plastic bags, for example, because I consider myself as a plastic bags, and where I started with that, I did this project for the first time. It was in San Gimignano. San Gimignano is like some kind of Disney countryside place in Tuscany. So when people from Arte or Arte invite me for the show, I propose also this unrealized project, house. And then they write to me, Pascal, it's too expensive. We try to do it, but it's too expensive. You see, I said, okay, let's do something less expensive. But this something less expensive, not just to do something less expensive. This link also with this San Gimignano countryside, because for me it's like some kind of Disneyland, very clean and very, but for me it's false, it's not true. So I come now with the garbage bags.
I see, so San Gimignano, how interesting, San Gimignano triggered the plastic bags, wow.
Voilà. And then, but besides this, I'm making visual stuff. I try to make some kind of relation between the sky and the plastic bags. And then there, I discovered a lot of stuff. I discovered the relation between this work I did with natural elements, like light, wind, etc., etc. Because when there was a wind, it was like a wave, it was so, and then you can really feel what you can see in the term of the ecological the impact of the plastic on the head, because it was like, it was very, 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 very wild what I saw, you know. But I did not thought about this before. It looked like there was something in the air, some kind of God who come to complete the work. Of course, I could say I know this before or not. I didn't know this before. I did not.
And also, I mean, the idea of the garden we haven't spoken about, because when you talk about the plastic bags, very often it's in trees, you know, it leads us outside, and you've just done a permanent piece which is in France, which is a secret garden. You told me before. Can you tell us about this?
Secret garden is something personal, intimate, something, you know. It's always from very simple observation. So I decided this project is a garden with the bad herb, la mauvaise herbe. La mauvaise herbe, I think you understand what I mean by la mauvaise herbe. La mauvaise herbe is like my portrait. And then my secret garden is something I really try to comment dire, de cacher, to hide.
Yeah,
to hide, voilà. That's it. And then when you look, flowers, as always, all flowers, they're always beautiful, but there are always some bad side of flower. That's the meaning of this secret garden for me, you know. But all the chairs around secret garden, they're common chairs you can found in Africa and in my country, and the chair from the king of the village till the chair of the garden of the guard of the house, you know. So I put all those chairs on the floor. I mean, people are sitting on, you know. I want them also to look at me, my portrait of bat herb, and then to feel all those positions, you know. I mean, the position of the mom on the chair, the position of the king of the chair, the position of, you know. That's it, you know. But it's always very convivial. Eh? It's always very, I'm just trying to also mostly make projects where people can really enjoy it. But it's not interactive. It's not interactive. Just to enjoy, you know, just to put there, you know, and see how people react. It's a revelation project. It's epiphany project.
So we are back to the epiphany, and we spoke about your first epiphanies and your beginnings. So I was kind of curious towards the end of this conversation, what is your most recent work? Yesterday or last week, what's the most recent piece you've done? What's your most recent work?
Of course, the most recent one we are doing now is a video you are making now. It's our conversation.
Yeah. Last question. Rainer Maria Rilke spoke. He wrote a wonderful text. It's an advice to a young poet. I was wondering what would in 2010 be your advice to a young art student, to a young artist? What would you give as an advice?
I just first maybe to define what the thing about the definition of art is, first thing. And then to see in this definition where he could be in this definition. Because, you know, we are making stuff. We are making objects. We are making a lot of impression. But the best thing is to ask yourself, what is your history? What is your statement? And you have to focus on your statement and try to develop every day, every moment, non-stop. And then you have to also try not to escape from yourself. Because now I'm sitting here in front of you. I look like a very serious artist. I can also jump in this and to be an artist, but it's not good to be an artist.
Wow, a wonderful conclusion. Thank you so much, Pascale. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.